Welcome to the 2024 Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Day. Let's meet the IDD Awareness Day hosts, the ARC of Colorado, JFK Partners, and Alliance.
Let's try that again. Oh, there we go. Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Elizabeth Moran, and I have the great honor of serving as the Executive Director at the ARC of Colorado. For those of you who are not already familiar with the ARC network, we are a 15-chapter network. 14 of our chapters serve regional areas, or what we call our local chapters. And then we have my chapter, which is the state chapter, that serves as sort of the primary contact for legislation and public policy. For those of you who don't know, the ARC chapters are completely privately funded by the ARC thrift stores. We are happy to introduce to you, if you've not met him already, Lloyd Lewis. Lloyd, can you give us a wave? So this is my shameless plug. If you don't already shop or donate at ARC thrift stores, please do. Because what you're doing is you're providing funding for all of our local ARC chapters to provide advocate services, resources, and education to families who have an individual in their family with IDD, but also to help their families navigate systems and maintain their rights. So, I am thrilled by the Colorado ARC Network representation in the room today. Would you all please just raise your hands so we can see who you are? We've got local ARC chapters, we've got board members. Thank you so much. So, I'm going to now pass the mic on to Sandy, who's going to tell you a little bit about another one of our partners over at JFK.
I really need to lower this. Okay. So hi, I'm Sandy Friedman. I'm director of JFK Partners, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here today. I love IDD Awareness Day. We don't have any stores, but maybe we should get some. So JFK Partners has two federally funded programs that is at our center. The University Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities and the Leadership, Education, and Neurodevelopmental Disabilities Training Program. And we have our LEN trainees, and as you're having people raise their hand, could our LEN trainees raise their hands? They're kind of... And so it's an interdisciplinary training program for people who are going to work with individuals with developmental disabilities, intellectual and developmental disabilities. Our mission is to promote individuality, inclusion, community integration, health and well-being of people of diverse backgrounds with developmental disabilities and their families. And we do training, education, community outreach, technical assistance, direct services, research dissemination, and more. So it's wonderful to be with like-minded people and wonderful partners. So enjoy the day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yay! Excited to see you all here at IDD Day. My name is Josh Rael. I'm the Executive Director of Alliance. For those of you who aren't familiar with Alliance, we are Colorado's IDD association. So we represent community providers, case management agencies, early intervention brokers, as well as businesses and advocacy organizations. Our members collectively provide services to over 20,000 people with IDD and employ about 10,000 people all around the state. So if you're an Alliance member, raise your hand, give a shout out. Thank you for joining us today, Alliance. We have so many special guests here today. We, of course, have the ARC chapters and the JFK Fellows. Yeah, ARC chapters. And I have the privilege of welcoming some of our agencies that are joining us today. It's a long list, and I'm not going to list everyone's names from those agencies that's here, but if you can hold your applause until the end, so that way we have a lot of great speakers today. But the agencies that are represented today include the Colorado Cross Disability Coalition, the Colorado Department of Healthcare Policy and Finance, the Colorado Department of Human Services, the Colorado Department of Local Affairs, the Department of Public Health and Environment, Colorado Developmental Disabilities Council, the Colorado Office of Employment First, Disability Law Colorado, Special Olympics Colorado, ARC Thrift Stores, Speaking for Ourselves, Anchor, and we are joined by some of the new Colorado case management agencies from across the state. So let's hear it for our guests. We will also soon be joined by the Lieutenant Governor, who's on her way over. I don't see Representative Byrd here yet, so we are going to just pivot and move and do some more thank yous. Sandy? Sorry, did I skip you?
Maybe. Okay, I don't think so.
Oh, sorry. Actually, it's
You did.
Elizabeth next.
Okay.
A little impromptu.
Sorry.
It's okay. We'll get there. So, the reason we have this room full of hundreds of people here, and then also at the Capitol today, throughout the day, is to bring awareness of the IDD community and the people who support them to the Colorado General Assembly. We are honored to have over a quarter of our legislature joining us today. Although many of the legislators will be making their way over and understandably need to go in and out throughout our luncheon program today, we want to take a few minutes just to publicly recognize the legislators that RSVP'd for this event. And as Josh asked you earlier, I'm going to ask you to hold your applause until I get to the very, very end. But as I read your names, if you wouldn't mind giving us a "Here I am" for those of you who may not know you already, so we can identify you. So from the House, we welcome the following representatives: Judy Amabile, Ryan Armagast, Shannon Byrd, Kyle Brown, Lisa Frizzell, Meg Froelich, Eliza Hamrick, Kathy Kipp, Sheila Leader, Megan Lukens, Barbara McLaughlin, Jennifer Parenti, Manny Rutinel, Elizabeth Valesco, Ron Weinberg, Jenny Wilford, Ty Winter, and Representative Mary Young. From the Senate, Senator Bob Gardner, Senator Joanne Janal, Sonia Jacques Lewis, Larry Liston, Paul Lundeen, Janice Marchman, Daphne Michelson, my apologies, Daphne Michelson-Janae, Rod Pelton, Dylan Roberts, Perry Will, and Rachel Zenzinger. Please join me in welcoming all of our legislators. And in case I have missed anyone, if there are any additional legislators who have joined us, please stand so we can make sure we're giving you a proper introduction. All right, I am not seeing any. So now it is my great honor to introduce the 2023 IDD Legislator of the Year and the esteemed chair of the Colorado Joint Budget Committee. Please join me in welcoming Representative Shannon Byrd. She's not here. She's almost here. Okay. So I am told that she's walking over and will be here any minute. Yeah? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just jump forward, and when Representative Byrd arrives, we'll loop back around. So now I'm going to turn it over to Sandra Friedman to talk about our Pledge of Allegiance leaders today.
So you're not there.
Before we talk about, whoops, I'm just too short. Before we talk about our wonderful Pledge Allegiance leaders, I want to thank the sponsors of IDD Awareness Day. I'm honored to thank Representative Shannon Byrd, who is walking over, Representative Ryan Armagast, Senators Rod Pelton and Rachel Zenzinger in the Senate. So thank you so much for the sponsorship. It really means a lot to us. Okay, now I get to thank the Pledge of Allegiance leaders. So we really would like to take time to recognize Dom and Keith for the great job leading the Pledge of Allegiance this morning at the Capitol, in the House, and the Senate. So please join me in giving them both a round of applause. Okay, now we're going to move to our keynote speakers. We're going to transition to them, and there's some abbreviated biographies in your program, and there's fuller biographies on our website, the event website. So I think Marcella is the first person. So thank you.
Our first speaker is parent advocate Marcella Schieffelin. Marcella is a mother to 2 neurodivergent adult children. She is a JFK Partners LEND program graduate and has published a parent tip sheet about supported decision making. She is currently a member of the Colorado Developmental Disabilities Council as the Vice Chair of Planning and Grants and Interim Chair of the Membership Committee. Please join me in welcoming Marcella Schieffelin.
Thank you so much, and kudos to the person who pronounced my last name correctly. And thank you, Dr. Friedman. I'm honored to be chosen this year to speak from the lens of a parent advocate. While it's not easy for me to talk in front of a crowd, whether small or large, I view it as a calling in hopes of raising the voices of me and other parents who navigate life with a child or children with special health care needs. I hope to serve as a positive role model that, despite fear, we all can do hard things and get out of our comfort zones. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Dina Johnson. Dina is my mentor. Dina. She was and continues to be, she was my mentor in the LEND program, and this is how crucial mentors are. Dina believes in me. She's a trusted support person. She's made herself available to me and listens deeply without judgment, which makes me feel emotionally safe. She asks questions that has me think critically, and through respectful communication, my perspective is valued. Dina is a guide for me to reach my goals, short-term and long-term. Ultimately, freedom of choice is being informed to the fullest that leads to self-determination. This is an example of supported decision-making. Thank you, Dina. So why am I talking about supported decision-making? Because all of us in our lives go to people to help us make important decisions in our lives. And what does this have to do with? It has to do with, Representative Gardner, I think, is here. His bill, Senate Bill 24-136, that has to do with uniform guardianship. Someone else is going to talk about it, but this is all related. So, as a parent, it's our mission for our children to grow up to be citizens, live in the way they see fit for themselves while contributed in their unique manner with their innate gifts when given the proper support. One voice I would like to highlight, though, is my daughter Zoe, who is Lily's, one of her primary support people. Even though Zoe is not Lily's parent, she does function as her primary support person in tandem with me. And let's face reality. I know I'm not going to be living forever, and if nature takes its course, Zoe's going to outlive me by many years. I want to be clear that Zoe has had free choice to agree to be one of Lily's support persons. We all agree that this could change in the future depending on Zoe's own life as it evolves and unfolds. Another reason for having a trusted and diverse support team. These are the words of Zoe in helping me navigate our system. My 21-year-old sister is creative, passionate, funny, helpful, and an adult with developmental disabilities. I'm grateful for the individuals who have made and are currently making the web of support she needs to live life to the fullest, especially my family and certain teachers and case managers who have dedicated themselves to their service. However, the state of our government systems create the conditions the support networks look more like a knotted, tangled ball of frayed yarn than a beautiful, resilient spider web. Communication and information flow are among the key issues I see with the system. The connection points are weak between all the well-meaning agencies, the individuals whose disabilities might impact their communication, and their busy families. How might we synchronize our information systems so that the technologies used by governments, healthcare systems, and other stakeholders are reliable and reduce rework or resubmission of the same information or permissions several times? Prioritizing, and for those of you that didn't clap, maybe you're not in that part of the system yet. But you probably will be at some point. Prioritizing this development while considering how to balance efficiency and privacy will be essential in strengthening the connections. When all parties can be informed and included, they are on the same page and better able to navigate bureaucracy together. At this moment, simply having all support people on one email chain has proved valuable, but what other innovation could there be? I also hope to see improved accessibility of information, including plain language. Versions of key policies, instructions, and educational materials that pertain to disabled people. I've seen emails from agencies such as HICPUF that are so wordy that I need help understanding the message. When writing communications, we must consider everyone, especially those most impacted by our policies and opportunities. Or maybe it's not writing. Maybe it's video, audio, printable cards, or something else. Ask my sister what works best for her. And in doing so, if she requests help from me, my mom, or another support person to communicate her preferences, let her do so. And if my mom or myself were to reach out without my sister included in the conversation, I would hope that you would ask to bring her in. This is what supported decision-making is all about. In closing, we need all the voices of people impacted by policies regarding individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities and other disabilities. Embrace your fear, find your support team, and let's do this together. Thank you very much.
Senator Byrd is in the house. So we're going to go back a little bit. I would be remiss if I didn't. She's also joined by Senator Kirkmeyer and Senator Zenzinger. And I just want us all to thank them because they are in the last stages of the budget right now. And they all took time to come over here and be with us. So thank you so much for coming. So, it is now my great honor to introduce the 2023 IDD Legislator of the Year and the esteemed Chair of the Colorado Joint Budget Committee. Please join me in welcoming Representative Shannon Byrd.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Representative Shannon Byrd, and I am so honored and delighted to join you this afternoon. I'm just grateful for your time. I'm grateful for your advocacy, and just want to start off and just thank you for the opportunity to address you today. I'm honored to be here with so many self-advocates, advocacy groups, providers, case management agencies, direct support professionals, family members, state personnel, all of you who come together for Awareness Day every year. I want to start today, again, by just reiterating my gratitude for everything that you do to support Coloradans with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Thank you for your advocacy for and with people who have IDD. Thank you for the supports you provide to help people live full, independent lives. Thank you for your passion. It is only through your passion that I have had the privilege to learn about the challenges and the opportunities that we must face to ensure that people with IDD have the opportunities to live their very fullest lives. IDD Awareness Day brings all of us together to highlight the inherent value and worth of people with IDD, their contributions, their needs, their desires, and the work that policymakers like myself can do to support them. This year, like every year, we have important work to do, and we have already started on that work. I'm happy to share some of the details of that. As the chair of the Joint Budget Committee, I am proud to say that my colleagues, and I know I'm joined by at least two of them, and if you would join me in thanking them for their work right now, there's Madam Vice Chair Senator Zenzinger and also Senator Kirkmeyer, who are here in the audience. And I will just say, I might be your legislator of the year this year, but nobody gets all of this work done by themselves. I am a vote, I'm the chair of the committee, but we have an incredible committee of champions who support what you do and how your aspirations for your lives. We are there united, supporting you. So while I'm here, I want you to know that these ladies and other members of our committee are your champions as well. So I'll start with a description of some of what we've been doing for you. I'm incredibly proud to say that we have found money to fund 129 new enrollments for the Developmental Disabilities Waiver. I'll just say that gives me the chills even telling you this. This, of course, as you know better than anybody, will go towards eliminating the waiting list. Even though we've made tremendous progress in recent years, we continue to have a wait list for individuals who sincerely need comprehensive supports. By funding 29 new enrollments, however, we're going to ensure that at least every person in every geographic region in our state, or at least one person in every geographic region of our state, will get to enroll in the services that they have waited for, and waited for probably for way too long. We all know that these DD waiver resources can change lives. And I'll give you just an example. If you'll let me read through some notes here, I want to tell you a story about a lady named Christy. Christy worked at a local grocery store and was able to live on her own for years with support from the SLS waiver, with help from her neighbor. But as she aged, Christy started to experience health problems that affected her mobility, and unfortunately, it wasn't long before she could no longer work. It was then, at that time, that her neighbor, who had looked out for Christy, had passed away. This led Christy to isolate herself. Fortunately, her name came up on a wait list, though, and she was offered a spot on the DD waiver. Christy was then able to get connected with a host home, and that host home gives her the support that she needs, but still allows her the independence she's always enjoyed. Christy's also decided to join a day program where she's made new friends and was able to restart her life. And none of this would have been possible without the funding that our state has provided to address the DD waiver list. So this is a success that I hope you join me in celebrating. Secondly, I am happy to say that we've also approved stabilization funding for case management agencies that are grappling with extreme challenges due to the many system changes that are currently underway. These agencies, again, you know better than anyone, are linchpins to getting people the services that they need, and ensuring their ability to do this work is critical. For those of you in the audience today who have been personally affected by these changes, I want you to know that we have heard you, and I deeply hope that this funding will help you in the months to come. Third, the Joint Budget Committee has approved increases to pediatric behavioral therapy rates, and we should cheer for that because that's a really big deal. Yes! These rates, help support paying our providers and ensuring that access for children and families in need of behavioral supports get them. They get the care they need. These supports are critical for Colorado families, and when I think of the impact of PBT services, I think of a child I learned about named Ethan, who has had a variety of challenging behaviors, unfortunately including self-harm. With sufficient supports, Ethan, happily, has learned alternative healthy ways to express his frustration in ways that are less harmful to himself and his family. All of this allows him more access to his community. The chronically low rates that we've been paying for these services have caused, sadly, too many providers to leave the state. And we need to begin expanding access again. As these providers have left, we've limited services, and there are now too many families who are waiting for help. So I have to say I am overjoyed that we've been able to open that door back up again, pay people as much as the state can, and help get kids more access to the care that they need. And finally, we have approved funding to increase wages for direct support professionals who provide critical day-to-day supports. I want to say thank you again. I'm so glad you're happy about this. We have spent months looking at papers and reading numbers, and you are reminding me and my colleagues that what we do on the Joint Budget Committee, it's not numbers, it's people's lives. So you're filling my heart today by your joyous response here, because it's making every one of these late nights we have spent poring over numbers, trying to make things work, worth it. So much more worth it than I already knew it was worth it. Yes, thank you for that. So, but getting back to funding these increased wages for direct support professionals, we see how committed these people are to their jobs. And for many of these good individuals, it's a calling, it must be, because they're certainly not paid near their worth. They make all the difference in the lives of the people they support, and we need to do everything we can to make sure that their compensation matches the importance of their work. That's our job on this committee. It's our job, all of you as advocates, to help fill in the lines, help color the picture for us, if you will, and make sure that we always and never forget, we always know, and that we never forget the importance of our work and what it means to your lives. I'd like to close with a call to action for all of us. So this goes to my fellow legislators as well as all of the advocates here. To my colleagues in the General Assembly, I hope you will join me in supporting all of these critical budget initiatives and learning about the many other bills that our colleagues have pending and moving through the system that are related to disability rights. In addition to meeting the good people at our tables today, I urge you to get to know people with IDD and those who support them in your districts. These are the voices we need, as I mentioned a moment ago, to inform our work at the Capitol. Our work isn't just the written text of a bill. It's not just numbers in a budget. It's you. It's your daughter. It's your son. It's your family member. It's your neighbor. It's people we love and care about. And your work here as advocates helps bring that to life and helps make meaningful change in our state. As legislators, we know that you depend upon us to give us this information. I want to thank you again for everything that you do, for your attention today, but most importantly, for the lives of generosity that you live, giving back to people who need it most. You inspire me to do better work for our state and to do better work for you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Rep. Byrd, for all you've done and will continue to do for the IDD community. Our next speaker is Kathy Frank. a direct support professional from Dungarvan. Kathy is the proud recipient of the 2023 Direct Support Professional of the Year Award and has worked as a DSP for 34 years. Please welcome to the stage, Kathy Frank.
Hi everyone. That's a tough act to follow, so I'll do my best. As you know, my name is Kathy Frank, and I just wanted to start out by saying how appreciative I am and humbled to have been chosen as the 2023 DSP of the Year. I was so surprised when my name was called. I wasn't sure I would make it to the stage without crying. I am so thankful for all who were involved in contributing to me receiving the award. This truly was one of the happiest times in my life. I have been in the field for over 34 years and have worked in various positions, and of all the jobs I have had, I have no doubt that working hands-on with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities is the one I love the most and am so lucky to have the opportunity to do. Each one of them made me the person I am, for they allowed me to be myself and welcomed me with no judgment, just unconditional acceptance. The people I have worked with have shown me how not to be self-centered and to realize everyone has their challenges, but also something to offer to others. I just admire all the individuals in this room who have chosen to work in this field, for without you, the strides that have been made could not have happened. In conclusion, I want to again say thank you for allowing me this life-changing experience and in congratulating the new DSP. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. And next, we welcome Molly Kirkham, self-advocate and president of Speaking for Ourselves. Molly is passionate about many things, but her current favorites are theater and advocating for people with disabilities. She identifies as a person with special needs, but doesn't let this limit her in any way. Outside of Speaking for Ourselves and her advocacy work, she's a regular participant in family theater productions. Please welcome Molly to the stage.
Hello, I'm Molly, and I'm president for Speaking for Ourselves, Colorado, which is a group of people who happen to have disabilities, and we meet because we want to make change, and we want to see change. And speaking of change, one thing I think that's important to mention is that when you think of bills, remember, it doesn't affect that person with a disability. It affects everyone. Do you know that in Colorado, 20% of people have a disability? And if you take into account the support person, family members, and support, that's over half the population that's affected by people with disability or by choice or by bills. So please, when you keep in mind, remember who you truly are affecting and how much it affects. And I want to bring up, so I'm going to speak about 3 bills today. The first one I'm going to speak about is Uniform Guardianship and Conserve Act, which is Senate Bill 136, which will be heard next Wednesday, March 27th. So please make your voice heard before Wednesday. And this bill has not been updated in 20 years, so I think it's time that we update it. What it would do is prohibit guardianship from happening if there's more options at work. So we'll restrict guardianship to only when it's necessary. It also takes away the words like ward and incapacitated, which I think does not describe the person. That describes what the challenge is, but not the person itself. So I'm glad we finally got rid of those words because they are stigmatizing to everyone, and it hurts labels. And when people see labels, that's all they see. And so I want to, and this also makes sure that guardians cannot cut off contact from family and friends for more than 7 days. And I think that's just courtesy, is just let people talk to the family members if needed. So that's that bill. The next one I'll bring up is House Bill 1168, which is equal access to public meetings, which is being held after lunch today. So please, any legislators, senators, go to that and please vote on that. It will require document to be published on website 24 hours before the meeting, so that way people with disabilities have a chance to read, understand, and fully be ready and heard. It also requires that meetings be accessible to everyone via video, audio, instead of just and I think that's good because we want to be at meetings, we want to be heard, but sometimes due to disability, whether it's physical or anything, we can't go. But that doesn't mean we don't want to go and we shouldn't go. So this is just saying, let us come online and let us take part. It's also saying that they will have via video or aids, like hearing aids, sign language, when needed and provided, just so that way we can take part and truly understand and be part of the community, not aside from the community. And it also recognizes that fail to do any of these is discrimination against a person with disability. And I think even if it's not, which is, I think it's just common courtesy and part of being human, just to let us take part. Like everyone else, that's all we want. And the last bill I'll bring up is House Bill 1360, which CDU, or Colorado Disability Opportunity Office, which again is after lunch. So please go vote and use your power that you have. What this bill does is it has resources for state agency and organization for the public. So that way, when we need it, we can go and have that when needed. It also eliminates barriers barriers that we face today in the community, whether this is work, employment, or daily life. It's just making it so we can take part and thrive in the community. It also makes recommendations to governors on ways to improve policy. So it makes sure that the policy and bills are updated and are helping the people and not against them. And it also gives people with disabilities supports to access resources like job training, employment, and just general life. So this bill would just make it so that the people can be part of the community, help the community, and truly do impact. And again, we want to be in the community, we want to work, we want to take part, but we might not show up as everyone thinks, but we still show up, and we still have a voice. And so those are the 3 bills I'm talking about, but please know that goes beyond these 3 bills. It goes to any bills. And remember, that you have the power to make the change, to be that voice, to be the one who makes it. Again, be the change that you want to see in the world. And don't take no for an answer. And like I say, just like what this makes me think of is the quote from the Lorax. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is don't get better, it's not. And this is what self-advocacy is. It's standing up, it's being yourself and not being afraid. And remember, disability rights are human rights. And I think it's also just goes beyond human rights. It just goes to being a human. And I think at the end of the day, that's all we want, is to be looked at, talked to, and recognized as a human and nothing less. And words do impact. Even if you don't know the impact, they do. And it impacts everyone at some point in your life. So speaking of how words impact you, I want to read you a poem that I wrote about how words can label you, stigmatize, and make you feel like a label or a number when you're not. So the poem I have is called What to Call Me. You ponder on what you should call me. It's a question that everyone faces at some point. You call me weird. You call me different. You call me special, but that is not my name. You call me slow. You call me lazy. You call me Leiden. Still, that is not my name. You call me faulty. You call me broken. You call me damaged. That's not my name. You call me disabled. You call me challenged. You call me flawed. That is not my name. Just call me Molly.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you, Molly. Really, and thank our other keynote speakers, Kathy and Marcella. And talking about inspiration, I have the great privilege of honoring the direct support professionals who do outstanding day-to-day work supporting people with IDD in their homes and in their communities. We are so fortunate in Colorado to have so many dedicated, talented people who are willing to take on this difficult job but excel at it. Many of us in this room see firsthand every day the impact direct support professionals have on the lives of the people they support. If you're a legislator, we invite you to become a DSP for a day or even a few hours by signing up on the posters by the check-in table. After today's event, we'll reach out to you, we'll reach out to you and make arrangements for that to occur. This year's DSP of the Year nominees shared several things in common: a willingness to go above and beyond that is required of them, an ability to see solutions when other people don't, and people see barriers instead, and most importantly, a deep and unyielding commitment to people they serve. To all the nominees, thank you for your skill and dedication. We are so appreciative for all that you do. So let's give them all a round of applause. As always, each year, it's incredibly difficult for our committee to select just a few finalists for this award. All of our nominees are incredible, and a few in particular stood out. As I read each of your names, please stand so that we may recognize you as a finalist. Mamadou Ouattara from the Developmental Disability Resource Center. Peggy Sullivan from Laredon. Jolene Bowers with Mosaic, who unfortunately is unable to be here today, but representatives from Mosaic could stand up too. So I went through those applications, and it was really hard. Everybody's amazing. And I encourage you to read their full nominations on the IDD Awareness Day website. You could find a link to that website on your program today. And we need a drum roll. The winner of the 2020, the 2024 DSP of the Year, this finalist's dedication and commitment made this person the choice for the, I can't even talk, for the prestigious award. Please join me in congratulating the Direct Support Professional of the Year, Mamadou Ouattara. So Mamadou, Come on up. Come on up. Mamadou. So, thank you. People really love you. So Mamadou Ouattara stands out in a field of skilled, compassionate, and experienced professionals. Having just passed his 15-year employment anniversary with DDRC, he is known widely for his advocacy, reliability, and positive demeanor. His skill is evident in his long-standing success with challenging situations, ability to meet people where they are and develop a relationship from there. His understanding of a variety of nuanced communication from a variety of people, his consistent willingness to prioritize the needs of people he supports, and his advocacy and supports for each individual based on their individuality. He is known as one of the hardest working professionals at DDRC, as he is always willing to fill in at the last minute when staff are sick or on vacation. Does someone need to be picked up? Mamadou's on the way. Does a new medication need to be delivered? He's your guy. Mamadou truly deserves recognition for his consistent, valuable contributions to the lives of the people he supports at DDRC. So let's give him another round of applause for his excellent work.
Congratulations, Mamadou, and all the DSP winners out there, or the nominees. Now I have the privilege and the honor of announcing the case managers the nominees and the winner of the Case Manager of the Year awards. This is the first year that we're honoring case managers, and frankly, this is overdue. Case managers partner with the people who serve to assist their needs, define their desired outcomes, obtain services and treatments and supports, and prevent and manage crisis and deal with billing and all the other things with the system that we call the system. So these nominees have gone above and beyond that immense job description by getting to know each of the people that they serve, and together figuring out how they can live their fullest person-centered lives. To all our nominees, thank you for your hard work and your caring spirit. Let's hear it for the nominees. And as always, it's incredibly difficult to select just two of the finalists. So as I read each of your finalist names, please wave, give a shout so we can recognize you. We have two finalists: Linda Medina with Weld County Area Agency on Aging, formerly with Envision, and Kira Sandlin with Mountain Valley Developmental Services in Glenwood Springs. And finally, we are ready to announce the 2024 Case Manager of the Year Award. This nominee's compassion, expertise, and commitment made this person a natural choice for this prestigious honor. Join me in congratulating the 2024 Case Manager of the Year, Linda Medina, with Weld County Area Agency on Aging, and formerly with Envision. Linda, please come up while I read some highlights from your nomination. Linda's journey with Envision spans an impressive 27 years. Her career path reflects her versatility and growth mindset, starting with residential services, then moving on to children's case management, early intervention, before dedicating the last 15 years to mastering all the facets of case management. This diverse experience grants her the unique understanding and challenges and triumphs that individuals and families that they face at all the different stages of their lives. Even as a case management director, Linda regularly carries a caseload to help out and is seen as a pillar of support for both the people and family that she serves and her colleagues. Linda's impact has been far-reaching, and she has found time outside of her regular job duties to contribute to statewide work groups and organizations like Alliance, and also to local communities as well. She is widely considered an expert on all things case management, and her holistic approach empowers people and families to make an informed decision and achieve their goals. Let's give Linda one more round of applause, Linda.
Congratulations again to all the amazing case managers who were nominated this year, and certainly to Linda. I have the great privilege of honoring the advocates who provide outstanding advocacy to support people with IDD. As Representative Byrd spoke about earlier, we don't do this alone. It takes quite literally a village of all of these pieces of representation that are in this room to come together. And it requires advocacy, us lifting up the voices of people with IDD to be seen and heard in meaningful ways. This is our first year giving an Advocate of the Year award. Colorado is well known for having strong advocates. Candidates for this award may be people who have lived experience or others who demonstrate a dedication to advocating on behalf of and with individuals with IDD. As you can imagine, it was incredibly difficult for our committee to select a winner for this year's award. Both of our nominees are quite incredible. Please wave or have your table of supporters cheer so we may identify you both. The first on my list is Chris Housel from the Arc of Weld County. And Mandy Kresh from Imagine. To both of our nominees, thank you for your leadership. You are so appreciated. And now for the winner. This nominee's leadership made them a natural choice for this first ever prestigious honor. Please join me in congratulating the 2024 Advocate of the Year, Chris Housel from the Arc of Weld County. Chris, come on up here so we can see who you are and you can accept the award. Chris Housel embodies the value of self-advocacy in all that he does to support people with IDD in his community, across our chapter service region, the state, and our great nation. His entire life has been a demonstration in the valuable contributions that people with IDD can make in our shared community. Chris's civic advocacy began with his participation in the City of Greeley's Commission on Disabilities, providing great insights into the journey and the future of our rural communities and the valuable role people with disabilities can and certainly must play. After his work with the Commission, Chris became a board member with the Arc of Weld County, serving as president for 8 years. In 2023, Chris joined the Arc of the U.S. National Council of Self-Advocates and became the chapter's representative on the Arc of Colorado's board. Currently, Chris is the past president for the Arc of Weld County and is supporting other self-advocate board members and their roles. Please join me in giving him one more big, hearty round of applause. As a reminder, you can find the full nominations for all of our finalists posted on the IDD Awareness Day website, the link for which is in your programs on your tables. So please do take time to learn about the incredible work of all of the nominees from today. Last, but certainly not least, we are very privileged to have the Colorado's Lieutenant Governor here with us today. Diane Primavera is a longtime disability advocate and a disability rights champion with personal experience working in the field, which she carries with her to her current role in the administration. Please join me in the honor of welcoming Lieutenant Governor Primavera to the stage.
Well, thank you for the nice introduction. I was hoping I could see over the podium. Sometimes I'm vertically challenged with that. So it's a pleasure to be here today. As she mentioned, I am Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera, and it is my honor to be back here with you all again this year. I've done this for several years. It's always so inspiring to be part of this event as we gather with advocates and your families, elected officials, direct support professionals, and educators from around the state to advocate for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I'd especially like to thank the organizers and partners who helped make this day possible, ARC of Colorado and their director, Elizabeth Moran, JFK Partners and their director, Sandra Friedman, Alliance and their director and my friend, Josh Rael, finding ways to support and lift up Colorado's diverse and talented disability community has been a long-time priority for me. I worked for many years as a vocational rehabilitation counselor, helping people with disabilities be successful in school and work. And prior to that, I was a case manager in Weld County at the Community Center Board, and I have to say I was never nominated for an award, so congratulations. And now as Lieutenant Governor, it's been such a privilege to carry out our administration's mission of creating a Colorado for all, a place where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and lead the lives they desire. Through intentional partnership and diligent work, we've been able to get many impactful pieces of legislation signed into law. In 2019, we revised the Colorado's brain injury program to improve research and services for individuals with this often misdiagnosed and misunderstood disability. And if you're taking notes, that was House Bill 19-1147. In 2020, we expanded access to Medicaid for working adults with disabilities to people over the age of 65, and that was Senate Bill 20-033. In 2021, we required the elimination of subminimum wage for people with disabilities by July 1, 2025, and I'm proud to say, yes, I'm proud to say our state agencies and community providers achieved this goal in a full 2 years early, and that was Senate Bill 21-039. Yes, that's worth clapping for, I think. Good work. Senate Bill 21-095 continued the Employment First Advisory Partnership and created a state disability hiring incentive pilot at the Department of Labor and Employment. Senate Bill 22-217 made a number of changes to the Colorado Disability Funding Committee, and that's where we auction off certain license plates and collect that money and grant it out to organizations that do creative things for people with disabilities and also navigating Social Security. So we, including all this, we introduced the black, blue, and red historic license plate backgrounds, and they have generated, get ready for this, $5.8 million in revenue. And that's just since January of 2023. So this allows us to expand grant funding to disability-focused organizations. So we're excited about that. Prior to it moving to my office and being administered by a person with lived experience, they had generated $100,000 in about 10 years. So we've made great strides on that one. Last session, Senate Bill 23-289 was signed into law, requiring the Department of Healthcare Policy and Financing to implement community first choice. This will improve access, yes, to home and community-based services and supports, including consumer-directed services for Coloradoans with disabilities, and save the state money thanks to a higher federal matching Medicaid rate. In addition to all these laws, we established an ADA office within the State Equity Office in our Department of Personnel Administration to improve the reasonable accommodations process for both state employees and members of the public with disabilities. We more than doubled the number of working adults with disabilities remaining on Medicaid, allowing them to earn a living without losing critical services. Last year, Representative Ortiz sponsored and Governor Polis signed into law a bill establishing the Task Force on the Rights of Coloradoans with Disabilities, which I have the great honor of chairing right now. The recommendations from this task force will help ensure a more inclusive future for Coloradoans with disabilities through increased civil rights protections, access to affordable and attainable housing, outdoor recreation, government services, employment, and elected office. So thanks to Representative Ortiz, this year, House Bill 24-1360 establishes the Colorado Disability Opportunity Office. It was introduced earlier this month and was heard in committee this morning, where I was proud to testify in its behalf, and it passed out of committee with a unanimous vote. This bill will, this is great. So this bill, if it passes all the way through and is signed into law by the governor, will establish the Office of the Colorado Disability Opportunity Office. We affectionately have to have an acronym, so we call that CDO, to make sure an ongoing focus and collaboration on disability policy areas crosses all state of government and remains in place in the future after our administration. Ultimately, our goal is to make state services easier to understand and access for those who need our services most. We know that supporting Coloradoans with disabilities also means supporting the people who help them. That is why I'm so grateful for this annual event where we gather and share our experiences, learn from each other's challenges, and celebrate milestones together. We've accomplished a lot, but there's so much more work ahead of us to ensure a better quality of life for our loved ones with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The next few years are an opportunity to build on the decades of work accomplished in a large part by the people inside this room. Together, we can improve opportunities for Coloradoans with intellectual and developmental disabilities to thrive through better education, including early intervention, removing barriers to employment, and improved direct care options. So thank you all for supporting people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Thank you for being here today and the hard work that you do caring for and supporting Coloradans with intellectual and developmental disabilities every single day. Thank you.
Let's hear it for the Lieutenant Governor, my friend Diane Primavera. Best Lieutenant Governor in the country. All right, everyone, that brings us to the end of our Awareness Day. I had just a few announcements for you all. I wanted to thank the finalists, the nominees, everyone that came from all across the state. Thank you to all of the Denver Art Museum, Visible Voices for our captioning today, as well as North Metro Services for the shuttle service. We do have the venue until 30 more minutes. We hope that you can meet with your legislators or see many out here. Maybe stroll with them back to the Capitol if you can. But this is your opportunity for networking and with our state partners, advocate partners. Please share all your experience on social media. You can use hashtag COIDD. We love to see those photos. And for our friends on social media, I know there's watch parties all around the state. Thank you for tuning in.